Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wines for the Times. My name is Judith Stamper, and I will be your host today. Before I get started with today's wine tasting, I just wanted to generally discuss about aging white wines. So a function of my course that I'm taking is I'm learning more things about different wines in different areas, and I've discovered that you can age white wines. Now, only certain white wines can be aged. So wines that are high in acid content or have tannins, as well as high sugar, can be aged for 10 to 20 years. So a really good Chardonnay or a Riesling or a Chenin Blanc can be aged, or any of the really sweet white wines. Now, as they age, they change in color. So they go and they acquire a light brown tones. Now, brown tones are a function of oxidation, and this would apply the same for red wines as it would for whites. The other thing I wanted to discuss was the temperature. Now, I always thought that 55 degrees was how I should store my wine. Well, I've learned that if you have heavy red wines, you should store them between 60 and 65. So that would be like a cab. Medium-bodied wines, red wines, would be between 55 and 60, and light wines like a Pinot would be between 46 and 55. So I guess the average temperature is about 60, which is about 16 degrees centigrade. Now, whites, if you have a full-bodied white like a Chardonnay, it should be stored between 50 and 55. A light white wine between 46 and 55. And sweet wines, a much lower temperature, 40 to 45, which is an average is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees centigrade. So if you take an average of the whites and you have a cellar and you have multiple different types, 50 degrees would be a good temperature as an average to store it at. And for reds, 60 would be a good temperature. All right, so now let's get on to today's wine tasting. So today we are going to be tasting this Leon Beyer, or maybe it's Beyer, I'm not entirely sure, 2015 Gewurztraminer. It's from France, in the Alsace region, and it has 14% alcohol, and it cost about $30 Canadian. So, once again, here's the bottle. And once again, we're going to pour the wine. I'm pouring the wine into a smaller glass. White wines do not need to breathe, so therefore you can put it in a glass that's smaller and thinner. So now if I take this wine and put it up against my white background, as I've done in the past, I can see that the wine is clear. It has no sediments or discolorations or anything floating in it. And it has a medium intensity. And for me, it seems like it's medium gold at the core and very light, almost clear at the edge or the rim. I'm getting a few legs, which would indicate a medium viscosity or alcohol level. Here's the wine again. We'll do the nose. So the wine is in good condition. It has a medium intensity. And I'm getting bouquets of rose, bitter orange, and lychee. So the first nose was really rose, was the most overpowering aroma or bouquet that I observed. All right, here we go. So the wine is off dry, has a slight touch of sweetness. It has low acidity and absolutely no tannins. There's an oily texture to it, and it kind of feels like it's medium bodied. It has a soapy, bitter orange taste with a hint of rose water. So, it's not really to my liking. And this wine is low acid. And based on that fact, it shouldn't be aged much longer than 1 to 2 years, and it's a 2015. So it may be past its drinking age. So it's good quality, fair value for the price. It's mature, and I think it should be consumed right away, because the floral and fruity notes on the palate are almost non-discernible. It would pair well with an aged Gouda or a hot curry chicken dish. I have no plans for dinner tonight, so I'll just be having some wine and sharing the rest of the bottle with the neighbors. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you next time.